Hi everybody. Hello. I am back. We got more Mechwarrior Destiny going on. How is everyone? Are we doing well? I think I need to switch the this one, the bigger one. Does this make more sense? I think. But yeah. Anyway, hello. Hi. I'm gonna jump right into it. Also. Oh, the VC. Hold on. I gotta mute that. I don't know if the mics are hot, but yeah. Anyway, back with more tabletop stompy robots. Hello. All right, there. I am in the VC, and it is intentionally muted for the moment until we go live, but we'll get other stuff going at least. Is my mic picking me up okay? I can't tell. Seems to be. All right. Hey. Okay, everything's set up. Go. I'll also put on music since it'll be pretty quiet at this point. I'll just do that. And maybe. Here, connect. Okay, we are ready to go. Ready up. And there. I can get my PNG to react when I'm muted. I think there is a way to do it, but... Oh, there's an atlas. Seems we're still waiting on someone, so... Oh, I guess I could look at the YouTube stream real fast, too. Alright, we're just gonna hang out here for a sec while everybody gets set up over on the other stream. I might BRB for a second because I gotta grab a couple things, so... Yeah!
there was a bit of a scuffle. The Blakist militia have attacked Ark Royale. The initial combat has gone actually fairly well. It turns out that the crew of the Barsuk, specifically the players, have been used more as almost shock troops in the operations that have taken place. Now, it has been, I'm going to say, 1 week in world time since your previous deployment. Things seem to be going well thus far. It's the Blakist forces on the planet have they're not necessarily on the back foot, but they're facing more resistance than they had expected, not in any small part to because of your actions. This morning, Kirka, when you had woken up, you had received some intel that had been sent to you via the base's email system, as it were. It turns out that the pattern, the patterns for the artillery have been kind of sussed out a little bit, and you have been given a possible, basically the possible next place that one of the emplacements is going to be at. We are going to use, because I'm lazy, we're going to use dialing pad again. And it is there. One quick moment. Get rid of stuff. Oops. There. Alrighty. So you're given a small map that looks very much like that. And somewhere about there is where the looks like some of the next, one of the next artillery emplacement is going to be. However, it's from what you were able to, from the intel you had received, it looks like there may be a lot of resistance in and around that area. So you've been given some time to plan things out. So when would you be having everybody show up? Hello? Can anybody hear me?
If your push to talk is on, you're not pushing.
You can hear Anna?
I can hear. Hold on just a second. I can go see.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
I don't know what happened there. I guess the settings on Discord changed, and for whatever reason, even though it was on the microphone, it didn't want to read the microphone.
Yeah, it's odd.
I've had
Yeah.
that happen to me.
Yeah, that
But
sounds
Discord-
wondering.
But Discord has been fucky lately ever since like the beginning of the month. The whole automatic switch to streamer mode thing hasn't worked, so
Hmm.
I don't know what else they may have broken. But you heard everything that I went over,
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
No, everything. I heard every word. I just apparently was speaking to an empty room. So to repeat my question, is this just like a planning meeting, or is this going to be like, or is this like the pre-mission brief, like we're getting ready to drop, sort of deal?
This is going to be the planning meeting. I was hoping to have at least one more body for the actual. And by one more body, I mean one more player. Body.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could easily be said that Ainsley is not Ainsley, fucking. I forget Cheer's character's name off the top of my head. That's terrible. Call sign Gremlin. Would be with the armor stuff. So, like, theoretically, they would still be involved in the battle, but the fourth person in the lance has more or less kind of been shifted back around to being Jet. So,
Well, it's more. I would like to have the player here.
yeah, that's
Four
fair.
players here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I get what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to find a workaround because, over table, there's been a lot of frustration about how the campaign's kind of broken down, so we were kind of hoping for some action.
Believe me, I know. I was hoping
Yeah.
for some action recently as well. I've been doing my best, but like, unfortunately,
Yeah.
life happens.
Alrighty, well, I guess we'll make the best of it. All right, so this is a planning meeting. Kirka would probably like select a very small number of people to be present. Probably have her command lance present, even if they're not necessarily speaking. Deanna's definitely going to be there because she's EXO. Esme will be there. We'll say Ainsley is there in the crowd, just not...
Ember.
Goddamn, Ember! Ember! Yeah, Ember is in there in the crowd, just not speaking.
Yep.
A couple other people, probably some Kellhounds as well. Just to kind of work this out, because this is one of the main objectives of the campaign up to this point. Let's say this would be like mid-morning.
Okay. And like you would also know, I probably should have mentioned this before, that like it turns out that there are about 3 sites that are potential targets. The Badgers were assigned this one specifically. The Hellhounds, and some of the Wolf assets were assigned to the others.
Gotcha. Alright, so then in that case, it'd be just a much smaller meeting. It'd probably just be the command lance then. A couple of intel people, etc. Still be mid-morning.
Yeah.
Once everyone kind of got together. So probably after like usual, like combat scenario, like morning routines, whatever that looks like for everyone. Everyone kind of gets gathered around at like, let's go 9 o'clock, just to give some time to verify, sources and all that before the meeting is actually scheduled to begin. And it's mostly, and it's going to be in a room with a table in the middle of it. Like, it's going to be more of a conference room.
Yeah.
But the table itself has a holographic screen on it, onto which this map is projected. So then once everyone kind of gets settled in, I guess she would just start up without much preamble or anything. Kellhound's and Badger's intelligence has deduced that the most likely position for the most likely upcoming position for the Blakist artillery units is likely to be somewhere on this spit of land here, about 35 kilometers southwest of Old Kana. They have deduced this due to the somewhat erratic pattern of the somewhat erratic movement pattern of the artillery, and through triangulating approximate distances between their previous positions and upcoming positions, we've been able to deduce something of a pattern. It seems they are operating in a roughly hexagonal fashion, trying to triangulate their forces in such a way that each location is approximately equidistant from the sites 2 and 4 deployments previous. Based on this, we have deduced 3 locations that will likely be used by the Blakists to set up their artillery and fire off their next barrage, which we estimate to be tomorrow morning. As such, we have divided these up into 3. The Kellhounds have the one due west of the city. The Wolves have taken a position slightly north of the city, and we will be taking this position down here. Given the fact that this is on a peninsula, the way that I see it, once the Blakists have set up their artillery in this location, it'll be very difficult for them to be able to move back out with impunity. As such, my present suggestion is to set up essentially a blockade. We will have 2 lances located here, and another 2 lances located here. Our armor assets and battle armor will be situated here. Redraw that ever so slightly. Here, in order to facilitate flow and fire support from one location to the other, depending on which way they make their escape. We in the command lance, being arguably the most proficient in these sorts of operations, will be the one engaging in the actual strike itself. Which under nightfall, we will be proceeding to do a strike directly into the heart of the artillery emplacement. The idea is that we will probably not I'm having second thoughts. Let me try this again. What we will do instead is we will come around this way.
Here, let me
The
turn
idea
snapping
here-
off. That might help.
Maybe. Let's see. It's still a little snappy, but that's okay. Oh, my snapping.
Ah,
Aha. Don't mind me.
it's all good.
There we go. We will be moving around this rock formation here in an effort to push them up and out. What I am hoping will occur is we will have essentially a hammer and anvil situation where we push the Blakist forces out into this field here and into a kill box. Due to the nature of the forces that are arrayed against us, they will have no choice but to leave their artillery pieces behind due to the fact that they are significantly slower. At this point, we will be able to eradicate their artillery from the field, and best case scenario, be able to take the rest of the support level 3, I believe it is, neg level 2s, out with it. We are estimating that there are 3 level 2s deployed to this site, 1 being the artillery itself, and then another 2 likely providing support. As to what the composition of these are, it is unknown at this time. It will likely, based on previous intelligence, be 1 level 2 of battle mechs and another level 2 comprised of armored vehicles and VTOL support. We can expect the battle mech level 2 to be fairly light in nature, but highly skilled in order to provide mobility as on their duty of escorting the artillery pieces to and fro. It must be mentioned, however, that this is likely to be taken with a grain of salt, as we have seen that there have been movements amongst the Blakist forces, shuffling around of different battle mech formations between the main force and the various artillery encampments. So in all likelihood, we do not exactly know what it is we will be up against until we actually deploy and have airborne assets with eyes on. At the very least, this is my proposed plan. Being the people that will be most likely, being the people that will be leading this charge with me, I saw it fit to see if I can get input from any of you as to suggestions, thoughts, critiques, anything of that nature. So I suppose I am opening the floor.
My one first thought is that we are leaving them an escape route opening up here with such a maneuver. So we may want to have the northernmost unit closer in case they try to make that run, because then they will be able to sweep in or out.
So you're proposing the northern formation to be a little bit more hereish.
Just in a location where it can respond if no matter which way they try to run.
I had another concern regarding that similar area.
Hmm.
That forested area there looks pretty ripe for an ambush spot.
Meaning this one up
Knowing,
here.
yes, knowing what we know about the Blakist forces, what are the odds, in your opinion, that they would use that as a staging point to, well, try and beat us at our own game, as it were?
Fairly high. Knowing this, though, I have already requested Barsuk transition its orbit to be more directly over this part of the peninsula. The dropships will be remaining on station after they have delivered our forces, which that delivery will be made approximately 50 kilometers to the east in order to avoid detection from any long-range sensors that the level 2s may have with them. The dropships will then be maintaining direct air superiority alongside our air assets in order to make sure that we control the skies. If we get so much as a hint of a heat signature within those forests, they will be barraged until they no longer exist. And anything inside them is burnt to ash.
Very well. We don't know what all assets they have available to them, do we?
Not specifically, no. The most recent intelligence that we have is exactly as I laid out. It is a level 2 of artillery assets, by which I mean we have currently estimated there to be something to the effect of 3 long tom artillery pieces and 3 thumpers. Just to provide shorter range artillery support, along with any immediately necessary support vehicles for those artillery assets to do their jobs. That would be your usual trucks, ammo, personnel, etc. The second level seems to be, at this time, comprised of 3 armored vehicles. They seem to be heavy or assault class tracked vehicles. We haven't been able to deduce what exactly yet. My guesstimate would be to expect the likes of Shrek's Demolishers, maybe an Alicorn. Along with a trio of VTOL assets. Again, the exact model seems to be unknown. They seem similar to warriors, but we cannot be certain whether or not that is actually the case. The third level 2, as mentioned, is battle mechs. At this time, the most recent intelligence we have suggests that the level 2 attached to this artillery force comprises of what we would roughly call a cavalry formation. Medium and faster heavy mechs, able to move quickly in order to provide shielding. I cannot expect this to be the case. The level 2s that are attached to each of these artillery formations seems to move and shift around in a seemingly unpredictable fashion. So, dealer's choice, unfortunately, as to what will be waiting for us when it comes to battle mechs. All told, the primary threat that will be facing our forces, as it stands right now, if we are able to pull this off without any sort of major complication, is going to be from the artillery itself, which, so long as our forces are able to remain mobile or dug in and hidden, that should be able to mitigate most of it until we are able to move into position to destroy those artillery assets. That being said, though, you do provide some important suggestions. I will see to it that we are able to get some sort of long-range intelligence, perhaps satellite imagery, onto this particular location to see if there's anything else going on.
I do have one more concern.
Mm-hmm.
Since the clan invasion has happened, the various inner sphere groups have been developing power armor on their own. Now, it's nowhere near as effective from what I know as the elemental armor and the other clan power armor assets.
Mm-hmm.
That might be something that we need to look out as now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not like I don't do sensors and things like that, but units in power armor would be harder to spot in those in that bush than a mech.
Very much so, yes. Let me look over what it is I have on my Timberwolf right now, because I know I used to have an active probe. She, at this point, will pull up her data pad and kind of mutter into it as she's looking at her lowdown information. And it seems that I have neglected to continue to have that back on there. Maybe I was a little too excited to try out those ATMs that we got.
Deanna.
Yeah?
What are your thoughts on that possibility? You, out of all of us here in this room, have the most experience with power armor on really both ends of the spectrum.
A forested area is a perfect place to set an ambush. Also, given that they use Comstar formations, I would also be concerned about the presence of manticores. However, I know almost nothing about the state of inner sphere power armor. So, with any luck, we will be able to get some information on how they are armed.
Allow me to send the both of you the information that I have regarding the inner sphere standard power armor that has been recently developed. And we actually have a star consisting of that type of battle armor. It is significantly less mobile than the elemental armor that we are familiar with. It is similarly armed, however. And one of the other advantages that it seems to have is that it does not require omnimech transportation. However, due to the lack of mobility, I would foresee, as Deanna pointed out, that they would be mounted up onto armored vehicles rather than an omnimech. At this time, omnimech distribution amongst the various intersphere forces remains relatively minimal, particularly compared to clan forces. We have become familiarized with the more modern intersphere battle mech types, and there is word that there have been some new omnimechs spotted amongst the Blakist forces, most particularly and interestingly, if I do say so myself, the Avatar. At which point she will remove the map slightly and put up a projection of the Avatar, like, in a, I guess, 3D, like, display. So it looks kind of wireframe. For those of you that don't know what it looks like, I'll just post it real quick from the notes section, and then it can be popped up on stream, I guess, to simulate that. Up here near the top.
Also, I, the player, am dumb. I forgot we did establish that there's an entire unit of standard, so she would not have been that clueless.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, that's the Avatar.
Just let me drag it out, please.
Yeah, hopefully it does so.
Well, it's OBS, so... Oh, nice. There we go.
From what we understand, this is the Curitan attempt to replicate the Mad Dog from the salvage that they were able to acquire from the Smoke Jaguars and Nova Cats in particular. This only fairly recently rolled out into mass production. It is a 70-ton omnimech that moves at approximately 65 kilometers per hour at full clip. It is a fairly dangerous omnimech, all things considered, for inner sphere standards. And as such, it does also have the hard points in order for body armor to mount up, like their clan counterparts. However, to the best of my knowledge, they only do so in groups of 4, as befitting their typical base 4 formations. Whether Comstar has had their own orders specifically so that they can mount 6 battle armor, I do not know. It is not outside of the realm of possibility, however. So yes, that is something that we will need to be keeping an eye out for, and it will probably be a good idea for at least 1 unit in each lance to mount an active probe of some type onto their chassis. I will be doing so onto my Timberwolf, since that is far and away the easiest change that can be made within this formation. The rest of you have battle mechs, and it would take a while to hardwire an active probe in, whereas all I would need to do is have my crew swap in a pod that contains the active probe in a matter of minutes.
Hi, Chaz. Hello, how are you? Or the creeper. Also, I gotta pull the thing up. But
One of the reasons why I was asking about battle armor. Sorry for jumping in. was I was doing some research after our last deployment because a couple of the mechs that we had faced were older models, and that got me thinking. So I did some research.
Mm.
There are a couple of
This is it.
older battle armor designs, and at this point, Jet pulls up a schematic on the holo table, such as this here. Let me share that into the Discord chat.
Oh, I guess we'll get another one too.
Why can't you be like OBS? Put you in downloads. The file. Right there. Boop.
Oh,
And enter.
What kind of role would it be for Kirika to be able to identify this power armor?
That is a good question.
there's that one.
If I was to guess, I would say tactics, personally.
You don't have any knowledge SLDF, do you?
I do not.
You could probably get some information via tactics.
Okay. May as well use this role since we have these skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Oof. That's a 9. I'm gonna let it stand since I know this is a secretive project.
Well, okay, so what you are able to find out, you don't get any specifics from that role, but that looks like something, because like you've done some digging into like the clan systems and stuff like that, and you have looked into like the clan background, and further than that into Clan Wolverine background.
Right.
This looks like something that you had read about, going back like quite a ways back through the Clan Wolverine, like basically pre-Exodus. You remember hearing that there were some Nighthawk power armor, or sorry, Nighthawk light power armor units that at least once or twice were attached to the 331st.
Well, thanks for the lurk on YouTube, Geek. I appreciate it. You've been doing well.
And like as far as you can tell, this looks similar to what was described.
So Kirika would tilt her head a little bit as she kind of scrutinizes
Here
this.
to go. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
I feel like I remember reading about this. This was a special forces infantry battle armor. Kuyaf. Care to share any further? Care to share what else you know about this? Since I think I see the connection you're drawing, but I want to hear it.
From what I have been able to dig up about this, and at this point, the records that I have access to here are fairly scant, but this was a scout power armor frame. As far as weaponry, it looks to be lacking. However, these seem to, at least from what I've seen, have had. They seem to have some sort of at least primitive ECM technology.
I see.
This could end up being a bit of an issue if we run into any of these. And with that, they are probably also able to be carried on the backs of mechs, such as the avatar that you had previously mentioned.
These seem, based on the weapons loadout that you have here on screen, it seems as though that they are predominantly meant to be some sort of infiltrator or scout, like you said. They may not be supremely dangerous to mechs in and of themselves, but I feel like... No, I would be inclined to believe that they would have access to spotting equipment in order to make the artillery that we would be fighting up against significantly more dangerous, especially if we were to attempt a blockade. If they do have advanced enough ECM to be able to slip by our sensors, then there's nothing essentially stopping them from being able to, and there would be nothing essentially stopping them from setting up, say, here, within this thicket to the south, and tagging any of the formations that they would be able to see, this one in the south or this one here on the plateau, and give them hell. You're right, that is a force that we need to contend with. Initial reports do also seem to suggest that Tomstar's ECM technology, as it stands right now, seems to be approximately equivalent to the clans. They also seem to have more advanced... I don't know how to describe it. Data sharing, I suppose. Our intelligence forces call it a C3 system. Command control communication. Basically, they have, and they got this as well from the Curetans, they seem to have developed a sort of technology that allows for the sensor readings of one unit to be shared with other units within that same network. This, in tandem with that ECM, could prove to be troublesome. Unfortunately, at this time, we do not have any such technology ourselves, aside from the good old Mark I eyeball.
Well, Deanna, if you were in a suit of stealth armor, as it were, what would you do?
As she stops and just thinks for a moment. Assuming they do not have reasonable anti-battle mech capability, I would get underneath them and go for the legs. The destruction of leg actuators is a very, very quick way to bring a battle mech low, even in just a suit of power armor that has lost all but its machine gun.
Question for you, D.
Yeah? Or F?
How long has it been since you've taken to the field in your elemental armor?
In real physical form? Blue Hole?
How comfortable would you be to take up command of our infantry forces as a screening force to prevent these probable threats from getting the better of our forces?
As you know, I've been training the Hellhounds on... Or, the Hellhounds, God. Thank Jesus Christ, I'm just as fried as you are tonight. I'm just as fried as you are tonight. Fuck me.
Sheesh. It's okay.
Yeah. As you know, I've been training the Hellhounds on anti-elemental tactics, so I've spent a considerable amount of time in the simulators with it recently. It is every bit as much a second skin as ever.
I see. Let me look over our order of battle real quick. We may need to do some...
You have 1 point of elemental and 1 point of inner sphere armor?
Yes. What I am more curious about specifically is the number of omnimechs within our formation. What we may need to do is do some restructuring or shuffling around of our assets in order to facilitate a more robust means of what's the word I'm looking for? Countering that threat. If we have all of our omnimechs with battle armor support concentrated within 2 of the lances that provide the majority of the actual fighting force, we may be able to do something similar, but from the opposite perspective. God.
How hard would it be to put an ECM into a suit of elemental armor?
A standard ECM suite weighs almost as much as the armor itself.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not something that is technologically feasible for us at this time. And as much as I would enjoy having our
However, there is a potential ace in the hole that we are not considering. The Rattel came with us. We have?
We have one of them, Af. The other one, I believe, is being used as a prototype for further testing and production. I believe it was recently transferred to Roadside. But we do still have the one.
The one with advanced electronic warfare capabilities.
True.
That's also an Omni vehicle. As well, if I remember correctly.
Af it is.
If it keeps its warfare systems offline until the moment of engagement, we may be able to catch them unaware that we have something to combat their capabilities.
If I remember correctly, those same electronic warfare capabilities on the Rattel have also been reinforced. If I remember right, not even the clan level technology has been able to successfully penetrate its electronic capabilities. So unless they have superior equipment to clan tech, that might be our best bet.
And such equipment can also counter enemy ECM.
Very much so.
They would
Easily.
not be able to counter ours if the strength assumption is correct, but we could shut down theirs.
Jet's gonna look over towards Esme. You've been quiet for a while. You have any thoughts?
No, not really, no.
So,
So if we are expecting an ambush them first.
mm-hmm.
Quick out of character question from the GM. What all did everybody bring to this meeting?
Kirka's got her data pad, her personal communicator. The data pad contains the most recent intelligence, as well as, all the usual info and communication stuff. Like, there isn't much that she's not able to look up at a moment's notice, and she has access to the digital mail system both planet side and even HPG, since she has her data pad uplinked with the HPG system aboard Barsuk. And then, like I said, she also has her own. She also has her person push-to-talk communicator.
Yeah, Deanna would be similarly equipped. Datapad, sidearm, communicator. Obviously not going to have like the power armor or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Esme's got about the same. Wouldn't really be much reason to have anything else, I don't think.
Okay. Kirka, you receive an alert on your data pad. That it seems, well, basically, it says that there seems to be fighting within the base. Potentially, it looks like some infantry has found its way onto the base, and there is a firefight happening. As like basically there's like actually all of your data pad have an alarm blaring right now because of this. There are, from the information that you are able to suss out, there are about between 6 and 10 individuals who are currently holed up in one of the briefing rooms that looks like they've barricaded themselves in. And they're using that as kind of a strong point to fire on some of the Calhounds' security.
Inform Colonel Allard we will owe him a door. I think I know how to breach this strong point. It is not that strong.
I think it might be time to introduce the Calhounds to just what elementals are capable of. Or perhaps give them a reminder.
That was the implication, F.
Perfect. With that, Kirka is going to get her personal communicator out and basically order all the elemental star specifically to armor up and meet with Deanna where the power armor is being held, which it's about halfway between the briefing room that we're currently occupying and the one that's being used as a stronghold, so they should be able to get to it without any real issue.
Yeah, track. Jet kind of raises his hand, like, almost meekly. You mind if I go and have some fun, too?
Sure. Just don't get yourself killed. Everyone else will be sheltering in place.
Okay. So, I am going to use whiteboard for this. Because it will be... no, I'm not. That's a pain in the ass. Aha. Facebook. Boop. That. That.
Just love the random cat girl peeking over a roof there.
Honestly, it tracks.
Okay, that's the door. There is window. Another window, which seems to be broken out, which are being used as firing points. And this briefing room, it does seem to be, well, it's not necessarily like a standalone building. There's a couple of other smaller buildings, but it's... Cute. One thing. Aha! There. Normal size building. But yeah, so it looks like there are a couple of buildings. The main one that seems to be occupied is the one with the blue dot. There doesn't seem to be anybody in the other building, but there aren't any windows to necessarily fire out of, so you're not sure if there is an entrance to that other building. And there are like a couple of barricades set up with like just kind of makeshift cover that's been put in place that the Kellhounds are currently behind and firing from. So we can kind of fast forward the time a little bit, unless there is something that anybody else would like to do in the meantime, whilst Deanna and Jet are going to prepare and get there. I'll say it's probably like 5-10 minutes for like, well, how long would it take to get into battle armor?
If it's already hotted up, I think you just step in and pull it closed.
Okay, so yeah, I would say probably, yeah, about, I'll say like 5-10 minutes just for transit time and getting everybody mustered type deal. So yeah, is there anything that anybody would like to do during that time?
Actually, after Kirka sends out the shelter-in-place order, she's gonna contemplate a little bit, and she's gonna have a realization that it is entirely unlikely that it's just going to be these infiltrators operating on their own. And she's going to look at Esme.
Yes.
Esme,
Mm-hmm.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they might need battle mech support. Your mech is still stationed in the mech bay next to mine, right?
I believe so.
That is not far from this briefing room at all. Let's go mount up. I have a sneaky suspicion they might need us.
Okay.
You do know how to cold start your mech on your own, yes?
Out of character, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Esme would know how to do that, but I have no idea out of character.
Since you mentioned that Esme has operated on her own in the field
Uh-huh.
extensively, then yeah, that's something that would be second nature to her.
Yeah.
Especially since this is her falconer that she's had for a long time.
Yeah.
Though part of me is giggling at the idea of these poor foot sloggers shitting themselves when a direwolf rolls up.
I mean, a timberwolf and a falconer is still nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. All right, well then, yeah, of course.
Okay. Which, at that point, she'll just kind of gesticulate for Esme to come to go with her. And they'll get mounted up in their battle mechs. They're a few minutes behind. So it'd probably be a couple of turns before they would show up on site. Just for sake of balancing or planning or what have you.
Yep.
Alright, you said there's a couple dudes shooting out the window?
Yep.
What with?
Give me a second. From what you are able to see, there is you know there's at least one support weapon. It sounds like it's an autocannon. Other than that, it's assault rifles. There's as you walk up, you can see there's 3 assault rifles, and you can hear/see the business end of a autocannon kind of sticking out the windows. So autocannon is there. There's there and there. So the big line on the top window is autocannon. The 3 shorter lines are assault rifles. The door is the one that has the arrows going the way, just a different. If that makes sense.
Yep. Oh, these poor bastards. And we did we mobilize others?
I mean, if you want to have others mobilized, um,
I'm just having a brain fart and couldn't remember what happened back in the briefing room already.
it was mentioned to potentially mobilize others, but I think that was probably left to your discretion.
Well, I suppose at that point then she would look down at one of the Kellhounds just kind of manning their barricades. Cover me. I think we need to be rid of this autocannon. And she is going to bound over and grab the barrel and try to rip it through the window.
Okie dokie.
Can't shoot it if we take it away.
That is entirely fair. Alrighty, make your roll, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, that's pretty lousy.
They are going to use an edge to re-roll one of the fours. Okay, they manage to resist just enough.
Turnabout is fair play.
Which did you re-roll?
The one. I re-rolled the
okay.
one.
Alrighty. Yeah. You manage to remove the autocannon from their grasp. Do
Yoink.
okay. As you do, though, a couple of grenades come flying out of the window. Towards you. And a defense roll, please. Okay. Alrighty. So you are going to take 1 damage to your suit as a brace of grenades explode around.
I'm assuming that is mech scale, and I'm also going to need a moment because Jesus Christ, these pie slices are annoying.
That's fair. And yes, it is mech scale. Because they do 10 per AP grenades, and I'm assuming that's personal scale, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you for
fair.
the lurk. I hope you have a good dinner. Good dinner, Geek. Thank you.
The problem with that is that now they've made her angry.
I can imagine. Jet, while you're doing that, is making his way over here. And you hear through your suit communicator. Keep them busy. I have a plan. And followed by a little bit of giggling.
Out of game, I see Operation Kool-Aid Man is going well.
And you are going to get shot at by a few more Pupils. I'm just gonna do them kind of all at once, just so that it's not tying things up. Actually, no, I'll do them in 2 groups. So the first group misses. The second group also misses. Alrighty, that will bring us back up to the top. And what would you like to do?
How many are on the other side of this window?
On the other side of the window, looking in, you can see you can see 4 bodies, including the one that used to have an autocannon.
Okay, so 2 on each window then.
Well, no, you can see 4 inside of this window. There are 2 like right at the window, but there's 2 kind of back a little bit.
No Kellhounds uniforms?
They are wearing very similar uniforms. Like,
but clearly hostiles.
Oh yeah, they are all clearly hostile. It looks like they had found a way to get some Hellhounds somehow.
Well, then I suppose the problem for them is that my explosions are bigger than theirs. If there is 4 in the corner, that should be a very nice blast area for short-range missiles.
Yup. So you're firing SRMs into an enclosed space.
Yes.
Okay.
Be glad this isn't Shadowrun.
Hold on.
At least in this system, it's DM Fiat. In Shadowrun, it's math.
Okay, so that's... And it's going to be standard warheads.
Uh-huh.
That's 12. Yeah, you managed to paste a couple of them. Well, paste I think is the wrong word.
Chunky salsa.
Yes. Yes.
Salsa
Chunky
pie.
salsa. That is a very accurate description of what is left behind. You also managed to take out a... It's not a big hole, but you put a hole in the back of the building.
I'm assuming you don't even need me to roll the M die?
No, because
Okay,
the way it works for that is for standard warhead for an SRM launcher. I'm just using the support weapon thing for it. It's 12 damage for personal combat. I don't think the M die would change that very much.
No, it wouldn't.
However,
So is that... Now I'm curious if the SRM launcher is a 1-tube or a 2-tube.
For the support weapon, I'm assuming it's a 1-tube. But it does say that it can attack up to 3 different targets per narration.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for high explosives.
Yeah. Speaking of explosives, just after you unleash hell on that side of the building, you see Jet jump out of the door of the other building, and you hear another explosion. And I kind of see another explosion on the other side. As part of the wall in between the two buildings disappears. Now, Kirka and Esme.
Uh-huh.
Just after you two get your mechs hot started and moving, you see your sensors list it as a Warrior H7 attack helicopter. It is not, in fact, flying. It does not have the colors of the Kelhound. And it is, I'm going to say, in medium range from the both of you. So, but
First, Kirka is going to contact the command tower, like the like ATC, and double check to make sure that that warrior that she's seeing is in fact not theirs.
Yeah, you get confirmation that that is not It is not one of theirs. Um, in fact, you actually see that there are 3 of them.
Okay. I inform ATC that we are engaging the that we'll be engaging the bogies with force, and to inform us if there's anything else in the vicinity. And then with that, Kirka is going to fire on one of them. She's actually going to try out these. She's actually going to try out these ATMs. So she's going to try and get a lock on the warrior labeled 4.
Oakley dokley.
And see if she can fire on it.
Okay. They are movement 4, by the by.
Okay, okay. So we're in medium range, so that's okay. She is at 11, so... That's going to be a plus 10. Like I said, goodbye, absolutely crazy, fucking to-hit numbers.
I think
They
that
have
means I think that means D has the highest bonus in this one, because it's support weapons and not piloting.
That is fair, and they are going to re-roll that, because that was a very bad roll. You hit still. Barely, but you hit.
Alright, so that is 1 pack of ATM 3s. Per the discussions that we had a little while ago when we first loaded them, and per the character sheet that has the setup with the ATMs, they do 2 plus MM for a max of 4 for each pair of ATM 3 launchers. So
Okay.
I'm going to roll 2 individual D6s. That's another damage. And that one is not. So that is going to be 2 damage to the 7 of that VTOL.
That is 2 damage to the front. Which... Oakley dokley.
Next damage?
And, yep.
Okay. And that's another missile to the front.
Alrighty, so how does this look?
Kirika's going to traverse up. She's going to see the missile reticle, which looks slightly different than what she's used to. Like kind of growl and then shift to a higher pitched growl as it locks onto the warrior. She's going to fire off 1 pair of ATMs. 6 missiles just go screaming out of the right missile pods, arcing up into the air. 3 of them don't quite hit their mark, but the other 3 manage to slam directly into the nose of the VTOL, causing it to pitch up and then begin to spiral as the pilot has essentially been knocked out from below and sends the thing careening down into the tarmac, where it flagrantly and explosively deconstructs.
Alrighty. Esme.
Okay.
Oh, also, did you add the -1 to hit for being
Yes.
firing on a... Okay, good.
For firing on a movement 4? Yeah.
Well, no, because aerospace.
Oh, it's also in aerospace.
Yeah.
Okay, then I did not do that. No, so it would have been a 14.
No, I'll let it slide this
Okay.
time because I should have mentioned it. But yes.
Okay, I'll be sure to do that from here on in. Easy.
Yeah, because aerospace in this system is way too easy to hit for how fragile they are.
Yeah, they definitely seem like they're built for arrow-on-arrow battles and not combined arms.
Sadly. But yeah, that's fine. I'll do that from now on.
But yes, Esme. There are 2 attack helicopters that are within medium range.
Okay, I'll use the Gauss and the PPC on one.
Oh, Oakley. So on number 1.
Yeah, do that. Start with the Gauss, and so it would be their movement is faster, and there's another -1 for
Yes.
the flying.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 18.
That is a hit.
Okay. 7.
In the nose. And Gauss does how much?
5 damage.
How does that look?
Okay, I guess just no sooner than the first one crashes to the ground, Esme takes aim at another and just unleashes the Gauss, which rips through the nose all the way through the back and just causes it to explode in the air.
Yeah, actually, it would probably do something similar to that, considering like the most they have in any one location, including structure, is they are very squishy.
Okay. Nice.
Alrighty, so the last remaining attack helicopter.
Hi, third tier. How are
believe
you?
they have-
Evil Catgirl. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. How are you doing? Hope you're well.
Gonna move a little bit and try and kind of close the distance. And they're staying out of point blank. They're in short range. Now from you, Kirka, and they are going to first fire their AC-2 at you.
All right.
One more because they are faster. And a Shabu.
And a Shabu.
They're going to spend their edge and have you re-roll the 6.
All right. So that is going to be a 3, so it converts that 19 to a 16.
Okay, that is going to be it.
Okay.
And it is going to be a hit in the 6.
For shout out. Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem.
It's going to be the torso.
Oh no. I get planked by a 30 millimeter.
Yeah, you take 1 damage.
Oh, you were having dinner.
Do the
Your sister's birthday.
Thank
Oh,
you.
nice, nice.
They're also going to follow that up with their SRM4 wrap.
Okay.
And a boop.
Well, I hope that you had good
Shaboom.
foods.
They hit.
Heroic shot. All right.
Yeah. And no extra damage. So you're going to take 1 more damage to the... torso again? The torso again. So
Okay.
you have taken 2 damage to the torso. Alrighty, we're gonna switch back to the personal scale combat that's going on. Deanna, you just deleted, I'm gonna say 2 of the guys that were in, like, further towards the back of the room. And the one of the other walls exploded, causing a little bit of panic.
So it's what, like 2 up on the window, 2 on the other one yet?
Yeah, so there are 2 on the other window. They're still kind of firing at the Kellhounds that are positioned. There used to be 2 back there, so there's like 2 there, 2 there, and 2 kind of in the center of the room, now focused in that direction.
All right. I think second first, same as the first, except we're gonna pop this window this time.
Alrighty, SRMs again.
Yes, sir.
You hit. And are you aiming at the ones that are like basically tagged right up in the window?
Oh yeah. Yeah, get rid of that cluster.
Yeah. That is definitely within the amount that you can blow up with SRMs in one go. So yeah, the amount of gunfire coming out of the window drastically decreases. And like through the smoke and or well, not through the smoke, but like through your like the audio pickups and on the outside of your suit, you can hear what sounds like shotgun firing off. And
immediately wondering what the hell he's doing outside of the suit.
Jet doesn't wear a suit.
Where's your super suit?
But yeah, so you see one of the ones in like the back of the room kind of fall over afterwards. As you hear Jet, actually, I'm gonna say all of you hear Jet this time, because like he's just has open comms with all of you. He's like, ha, got one. And there's a little bit more gunfire, like the other one is kind of trying to do suppressive fire towards the breach in the other wall. The Kellhounds have kind of... The fire from the Kellhounds has reduced as well, considering there's not much for them to shoot at the moment. And there is a large angry elemental that's kind of in the line of fire.
I was gonna say showing them why planners are scary, but that works too.
Well, yeah, column A, column B. Let's go back to Kirka and Esme. You have taken out 2 of these attack helicopters, and there is a third that is what it looks like right now, trying to gain altitude to break off.
Kirka's not gonna let that happen. She's gonna fire off another ATM pack, and if that, and just to make sure she's gonna fire off her PVCs as well. So
Getting a little toasty.
she's got the heat dissipation for it.
Alrighty, what will you be firing first?
First is going to be the ATMs. Taking into account the speed and the fact that it's flying. Shaboop.
Boop. Yep, you hit.
Alright, so this is still medium range?
Short.
Oh, short. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they closed in to get a better shot with their SRMs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were definitely
Yeah.
made. Well, it's still okay. And so it's going to be the same damage calculation as before, because the high explosives are point blank only. Lucky for it. Actually,
Yeah, they weren't dumb enough to close to point blank. That would have been silly.
especially since they've never seen ATMs before. So that's 1 extra damage, and that's it. So 2 damage is going to the 11.
Okay. So you blow the rotor off of this thing. I will let you decide how that looks, but yeah, the rotor's gone.
All right. Does the third? Where does the third one hit? Just out of curiosity. The front. Okay. So this time, as soon as the growl, as soon as Kirka gets the right growl, she fires off the other ATMs. So now 6 missiles streak up from the left, whereas previously they streaked up from the right. Again, a couple of them go a little dumb and they don't quite hit their mark, but that's fine, because 2 of them managed to slam into the VTOL directly at the base of the rotor, causing the blades to just fly off in 2 different directions. One set of rotors flies off in one direction, the other set of rotors flies off in another direction. The engine is completely disabled, and then as the missile arcs up, it hits the front of another missile arcs up, hits the front of the VTOL, somewhere near the cockpit. The pilot's knocked out. The VTOL begins to sink, but Kirka, still not paying attention to the damage that those missiles just caused, fires off her PPCs. Let's just say it hits.
Oh yeah, those are gonna hit.
And then an extra, and then just to really seal the deal, 2 streaks of blazing azure hate just streak up from her Timberwolf, slamming directly into the fuselage of the warrior, setting off the fusion reactor and causing it to explode in midair.
You know these things only have 8 pips total, right?
Yep.
Well, now it has... Well, it had 8 pips, and now it has -5. Yeah.
11 pips total, including the rotor.
I think structure is shared on VTOLs. Oh no,
Structure
it's
is
not.
No,
Oh,
it is
damn.
not. That's
Oh,
only
no?
aerospace.
Ah.
Son
still.
of a- Okay, Facet did the kindness there.
Okay, well, still, -2.
Yeah, it's still definitely gone. You might be able to get some salvage out of the other 2. There were parts left.
If by part you mean like a bolt and like a couple of grains of dusted glass.
Well, I mean, the first one, it was just like the nose cone that was taken out. Like the cockpit and the nose. So, you know, there might be something left. So they will be considered as destroyed if they're taken as salvage. Alrighty. So there doesn't seem to be any other VTOLs or other vehicles in the immediate vicinity anyway. Deanna. From what you can tell, there are 3 bodies left in this building.
The herd has been thinned enough that it is time to remove the door and fire something a little more precise, like a laser.
Also, I think you're out of SRMs anyway.
Yes, I am.
The SRMs did their job.
Yeah, 2 volleys. That's all we needed. Just, grab the door with the battle claw, rip it off, pull the laser up, and put a hole in a bitch.
Alrighty. You miss.
Fuck it, we'll take the reroll. I'm just gonna reroll the 1, because I think the 5 is fine. Oh no, it's a 3. Never mind.
It's a 3, yeah.
Fuck it, we'll roll them both. That's better!
Yep. So you delete a fool.
Death becomes you, motherfucker.
Because, they don't have... That one... Well, okay, no. He's not dead.
I thought next skill damage killed instantly.
Well, it's basically times 10. Is, I believe, the way it works. And the small laser does 1 damage, right?
Yeah, I know if you downgrade a hit, it becomes 10, because there's a plot point thing for that. It's been too long. No, that's building a mech. Where is it? I should have looked this up as soon as you said we were getting an armor, so I had this shit in front of me.
Well, regardless, dude is unconscious. He has gone into shock, and he is probably going to succumb to full body 3rd degree burns.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Because the -4 that he would be at applies to the consciousness check.
Yeah, he ain't waking up.
No. He is not in a good way. And as you do that, you see Jet turn the corner and leg the next guy. As like you can see Jet pull up the shotgun, and this guy's leg below the knee just kind of disappears, taking him out of the fight. The last guy is gonna try and shoot at you, because while you are the hardest target, you are also the biggest threat. He's gonna re-roll with an edge. He actually hits. And you take 2 assault rifle. It's gonna be 3 personal skill damage.
Okay.
Kirka or Esme, are either of you doing anything? Going once.
Oh wait, I heard.
Oh, I muted.
You
Sorry.
were muted.
Yeah. Kirka's just doing a sensor sweep to make sure that the area is clear of any larger threats.
At the very extreme range of your sensors, as you are kind of doing a focused sweep of your sensors and kind of putting your attention towards them, you momentarily see a blip that registers on your sensors as unknown. Unfortunately, it's moving at a very high rate of speed and is traveling to the southwest. Esme, you doing anything, or are you just kind of chilling out?
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of,
Alrighty. Deanna.
Well, since, knowledge is a good thing to have, the goal here is to learn from the last time we had fuckers infiltrating like this. Shove the power, take the gun away, shove the power claw in his mouth, and just use the speakers to tell him to surrender or this will be painful.
Roll intimidation.
Oh, a skill Deanna has in spades?
Actually, not really.
Really?
Charisma based.
Oh, yeah. Wait, does Kirka really have a higher intimidate than you? At a +6?
Oh god, yes. Because it's charisma based.
Fair enough.
I will say situationally, yeah, this guy drops his weapon and and puts his hands up.
I've taken one alive. Send the Hellhounds in. He is currently unable to activate any teeth that he may have.
Kirka knows better than ask questions. Copy that. She'll change.
The last time we had an issue with teeth.
Oh, no. No, she's just there'd just be a flash of just, what do you mean activate teeth? Never mind. Before just copy, changes frequencies. Situation under control. Sound all clear. Calhoun security forces report to the formerly occupied security checkpoint to apprehend one prisoner.
So, Deanna, you notice as you're kind of surveying the room
that they're going to need a mop?
Well, that too. There are only the remains / bodies of 8 people in here.
Our initial report said 6, so...
Well, up to 10.
Well, up to 10, 9. So there might be one more floating around, there might not.
Might be a couple corpses in that first room Jed had.
True.
So after a few moments, the Kellhounds security team comes in and takes the 2 that are remaining alive the one that's missing a leg and the other one that, you know, had a mouthful of battle claw, to a different part of the facility. As they're walking away, Jet kind of stretches and, that was fun. They broke too easily, though. I wonder if this is going to be an issue.
Well, it is going to make movement around campus less convenient.
Yeah. Kiriko, we meeting back in the briefing room?
She's quiet for a little bit as she kind of contemplates. Neg, we will meet up in the main office of our mech bay.
Meet you there.
Really quickly, she's gonna radio up to Barsuk and see if they happen to have any eyes on the artillery battery that they're supposed to be targeting.
The response you get is they have eyes on what seems to be a convoy of some sort. However, there is there seems to be some sort of sensor interference that's preventing them from getting a solid lock on the composition of said convoy. Um, they do mention though that if they are allowed to retask the aerospace assets, that they might be able to get more information if they can get actual eyes on.
Stand by. At that time, she'll switch frequencies to get in touch with Baltar, who, conveniently enough, would have been already up in the air doing a cap, in the opposite direction from where this little strike force would have moved in. So that's why he wasn't able to respond. But she will task him to do a flyover at the coordinates given by Barsuk.
Yeah, you get. He basically says, "Yeah, and en route now. I will let you know when I have information for it for you."
Copy. All I need is video. No, all I need is visual evidence. Don't do anything too risky. Send it to my data pad as soon as possible.
I'll get you what I can.
Thank you much.
Alrighty, so at this point, I will use this map. Boop. You find yourselves in the office in the mech bay. Jet is at a table off to one side with his maintenance kit out and just doing some aftercare on his shotgun.
Kirka would probably be the last to make her way back in there, just because she would be coordinating custody of the prisoners, as well as coordinating to get any intelligence received from any interrogations that they might have, as well as hopefully getting intelligence from Voltaire's flyover. Yeah, just tying up some loose ends before she makes her way in there.
Alrighty. I'm gonna say you probably won't have the information from Voltaire by the time you get there, just due to travel time, and he's being careful not to get into any sort of firefight or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's flying a
basically-
brick that is strapped with 4 explosive bricks.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mhm.
As Kirka comes in, Jet's just gonna kind of look up. Things are getting more complicated, aren't they?
They always do. At least to some extent, the complication is not at our end. They seem to have infiltrated using Calhound uniforms, which means that they either are unaware of or do not have access to anything related to us.
That makes sense. Theirs are going to be far more prolific than ours.
Not to mention, we recently changed uniforms, colors, etc., in an effort to blend in a little bit more with our friends. So even if they were to get access to those things, they would be outdated, and we'd be able to deduce that pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, this is a Hellhounds facility, so trying to come in as one of us would probably not seem all that tactically sound.
Given our limited presence, I would be surprised if they were even fully aware that we were here. They seem to have difficulty responding to us.
Don't most of our adversaries?
Exactly. That I would say is one of our greatest advantages.
So, what's the plan? Are we going to be keeping our cards closer to our chest?
I'm afraid so. I will be communicating strictly with the command echelons of the Hellhounds in order to coordinate plans. I'll put out a announcement moving forward that we are to reduce unapproved sharing of intelligence with both the Hellhounds and the Wolves, given this situation. And I will be the one to facilitate that intelligence transfer directly. It's going to make my life a little bit more annoying, but it should reduce the amount of intel that gets into the wrong hands. Having lived in the shadows for over 200 years gives us a bit of a leg up on this.
Yeah. I mean, it is nothing new.
Not in the slightest. That being said, I can hardly blame the Hellhounds for this breach in security. Like you said, there's a lot of them here. And that was a pretty small task force. That being said, given how this particular division of the Blakist militia tends to operate from what little I've seen in our dossier of them, I would not be surprised if there's a couple more similar cells running around. I will work with our intelligence and security team in order to modify our information sharing protocols. In the meantime, she's going to go quiet for a minute, and then she's actually going to ask for a I don't know what it would be called in this universe. Essentially a tricorder. She's going to do a sweep of the office to see if there's any bugs. Is what she's intending to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's like some sort of handheld sensor device that would be available. That definitely works. If I could get you to then give me a skill. If you have it, computers, otherwise straight intelligence.
It'll have to be straight intelligence. Shockingly, she does not have a computer skill. She has investigation.
You know what? Hold up.
I rolled boxcars.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say, the investigation could have worked. I would have allowed that, but yeah, you rolled high enough. You do not find any sort of like bugs or anything like that in this office.
Okay. Good. We're clear.
Yeah, and according to the book, it's just called a bug scanner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's a There's one under surveillance gear on 156.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. All right, awesome.
I thought I had seen one.
I thought I did too. I just couldn't remember the name. Bug scanner. Anyway, so yeah, since she knows it's clear, what she's gonna do instead of having the hologram is she's gonna grab a piece of paper and quickly sketch out the peninsula, which time for a real life check. Okay, that works too. La 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 la. Okay. Which now, she's going to do something a little bit different, and she is going to change a couple of things around. And just sketch out some basic shapes denoting where everyone is roughly going to be. Given the discussion that we were having before we were so rudely interrupted, I have decided that we are going to slightly revise our battle plans. We are now going to take our lance and we're going to augment it with the Rattel. Ember will be transferred to be the commander of the Rattel since it is at this time unmanned. The crew will be transferred over to take command of the Rattel rather than the Oro that they had been used to commanding, and along with that I will have Technician Johannes brought down in order to provide electronic warfare support. He is the best, well, that is a stretch, the most familiar with the Rattel's communication systems, and as long as we have him simply riding along to provide warfare, I do not foresee him being an issue. He will be attached
Cash
to our
just
lance.
redeemed headpats for 250 points.
We will still be conducting operations more or less as normal.
Oh, thank you for head
Any
pats.
omnimets we have will still be
How you doing,
distributed.
Cass? Hello. Hi.
Between our forces in order to facilitate battle armor support as well as the
Wait a second.
addition of electronic warfare equipment in order to
have
try
this
and
head pat. I
counter
forgot I got this head pat.
any
There we go.
ECM bearing battle armor or otherwise maybe lurking within the two forests. You'll notice that I have one of our lances stationed within this thicket down here. I am hoping that we can eliminate this as an issue entirely before any serious engagement begins. This one is too large. We will have to roll the dice and see if we need to do anything about that in the moment. In the meantime, our other forces will remain on station. until we have a definitive direction which this force will attempt to fall back. And then once they find their way out into this middle area here, we will proceed as planned and have our forces collapse in. With the addition of electronics warfare packages, we should be able to swing the scales back into our favor. And as proven by today's combat, our infantry and battle armor personnel are more than capable of the task at hand. Does this plan sound amenable?
Well, you are the boss, so.
Correct.
Well, we have all avenues of retreat covered and all but one possible ambush point covered.
Which means it either will be or won't be that ambush point. And if it is, we will be ready.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
Would we happen to have that flyover at some point during this conversation?
Probably basically right at the end.
Okay, that works. I'd be willing to do a roll for it.
So what information are you looking for specifically?
Specifically, a force composition of that convoy. Like, numbers, assets, things of that nature. Composition.
Okay. So what you were able to find out is there are they're heavy hover vehicles, yeah?
I believe so. Let me confirm that.
Battletech vehicles are one of those things that I never really looked too much into. Well, I mean, even if there aren't, like canon-wise, there are 3 large hover vehicles. 2 of which seem to have exceptionally large guns. You can assume that they are probably artillery platforms. One almost looks From the description that you're given and the video that you can see, it essentially looks like a pattern with, yeah, basically a hover tank version of a pattern. They are accompanied by what looks to be 3 Condor heavy hover tanks. As far as mech assets, there is one avatar sorry, I was just giggling at the Cauldron-born.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's designated as a clam Omnimech.
Sorry.
It's fine. I just thought it was amusing.
Yeah, look. There were 40 of them.
No, I get it. 100% get it. It's all good. So an avatar. There's at least 2 panthers of unknown variant. A blackjack, of course. 2 crabs. There also seems to be a couple of bushwhackers. A champion. What almost looks like, or is described as, a mech very similar to a Timberwolf. An Orion. And 2 Stalkers.
I acknowledge, Kirka acknowledges receipt of the information, and alright, so let me actually, sticky notes. I'm just gonna do this out of character. So 3 hover RD pieces, 3 condors. That was it for the hover vehicles, and then there's a bunch of battle mechs, right?
Yep.
So it's an avatar, a Ebon Jag, 2 panthers, 2 bushies, did you say?
Yes.
Alright.
When he said one that looks a lot like a Timberwolf, I thought, Timberwolf at home.
Yeah, Rakshasa. That's exactly what that is.
Yep.
I love it.
I was trying to find a way to describe it because it's new enough that it probably wouldn't be in like the Badger's systems, and it looks like a Timberwolf.
I would say that it probably would be in the system, but not very many people would be aware of it. Like, they'd just be like, what the heck is that? Whatever. Just because it'd be just this random name.
It looks like a Timberwolf that was made from one of those little wood kits at Lowe's.
Yeah. Rakshasa, Ryan, Blackjack.
Yep, and Fustok.
You have room for one more. That's only 11 mechs. Unless I missed one somewhere.
Nope. And an Annihilator.
Okay.
Mainly because that's the one that's like right in front of me.
Fair enough. Are you okay, Annie?
No, she's been hit by.
4 AC-10s.
Oh, boo. I was hoping you were setting me up for a Michael Jackson joke there.
I was, and then I undercut it because, haha.
Set, and then instead of spike, grab my hair and drive my chin into the net.
Yeah, pretty much. Teehee. I live to defy expectations. Difficult but not impossible.
Oh, hi, Cheer. I see you're alive.
Yeah. Hi. But yeah, with that, Kirka is going to update the red accordingly. And basically, from there, she will just kind of say, details will follow at the briefing this evening at 2000. This is going to be a nighttime assault. Hopefully we can catch them unawares before they are fully set up. If we play our cards right, those heavier battle mechs will not even be a factor. Sorry. I'm just thinking out loud. If there are no other questions, comments, or concerns, you are free to leave. Remember, 2000, 8 p.m.
The only further comment I have to offer is that if you get tired of the gruffness of the wolves, remember that you do have an official liaison. Do not be afraid to send me to speak with them.
Worry not, they have been shockingly well behaved.
For beta, that is impressive.
Very well. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Alrighty, I think we can probably call it there unless anybody else has anything they would like to add in.
I don't think so.
Awesome. I will say 3 XP for everybody tonight.
Alrighty, session 39, June 27th. 356.
I hope everybody had fun with tonight's session.
Yeah, this was a good time.
One hardware point shy of getting an executioner. Oh well.
Oh,
I currently have 5 XP banked. And that means if I wanted, I could get an Assault Clan Battle Mech, a Heavy Clan Omnimech, or a Medium Clan Omnifighter. Which, the only reason I'm considering that at all is just because of the whole, like, we need Omnimechs thing that was just discussed. And, like, no other reason.
And how many times has this blown up in your face in the past?
Too many. Look. It's not my fault that the poor girl is just cursed to just be that fucking good in a Timberwolf and, like, literally nothing else. I did have the stupid thought of trying to port the Iron Cheetah into this, but I'm gonna hold off on that because that seems unfair. $100-ton Omnimech with the with a better movement profile with the same amount of armor and firepower as a direwolf. Blech.
Yeah, that is kind of gross.
It's inherently gross. Even if it looks a little silly. Like, it's just a direwolf with the shell taken off and the cockpit replaced with a Timby head.
It honestly kind of looks like an overgrown woodsman.
A little bit. Which is weird given it's ostensibly from the ground up a smoke jag mech.
Oh, Jade, can you copy the list of mechs that are, well, adversaries you were given into the chat? 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
going to forget.
Yep.
I feel that. Like, I have had the
Done.
short-term memory of a sleeping goldfish tonight.
With me, it's more I'm not going to remember the 18 vehicles that I had listed off.
Yeah, that is a lot.
I already don't remember them.
Well, luckily they're all right there. 3 Hoverarty, 3 Condors Avatar, Ebon Jag, 2 Panthers, 2 Bushies, Rakshasa, Orion, Blackjack, 2 Stalkers, and a Nanny. Da-da-da-da.
I only remembered one.
I don't know what it means that I somehow have the best memory of everyone here.
It means I haven't been fucking sleeping worth anything lately.
Okay, fair.
And also that your memory is probably better than you think.
I like to say I have a photographic memory. The camera's just out of focus every now and again.
Fair.
With aphantasia, I have a photographic memory, but never remember to take the cap off.
Ah.
Oof.
Alrighty, so the plan is next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and whatever that is for everybody else's time zone. We will be reconvening. And there will be a hell of a fight happening.
Right.
Okay.
And what I'll probably do is I'll probably start with the deployment, since we've done the planning stage today, which was one of the reasons why I decided to do it this way. Because then we can jump right in with the action.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Because this is going to be like a big turning point for this arc.
So set alarms.
And I'm going to need to find the actual loadout for some old school inner sphere battle armor. I was also looking at the tornado as an option as well, because that one was actually built by Comstar.
Oh yeah, this thing.
Hmm.
That's right. Based off of the Nighthawk.
Yeah.
It does, however, incorporate 2 armored gloves.
So does the Nighthawk.
Why am I imagining the fucking, like, NES Power Glove?
That's awesome.
Of the 80s?
Yeah, the same.
But yeah, I don't know. I figured the Nighthawk would be like the better choice, considering it's SLDF gear, so there could be information still found out about it. potentially. If only you would have had a better roll.
Oh well. Honestly, you could still theoretically drop the tornado on us.
Yeah. I mean, I could also throw a curveball and come up with something brand new that is not on Sarna.
I mean, yeah.
Well, alrighty. I am going to nuke the YouTube stream. Boop. Has been nuked. And I think I am going to dip out for a little bit, watch some anime, and then decide if I want to go live again with some scuffed video game creation. Because I've been having fun with RPG Maker.
Okie dokie.
Nice. Yeah.
And what were you thinking of doing once this finished up?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Fair enough.
Well, I am now going to see who I'm going to raid out to. It, as always, has been a blast gaming with you all.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to be back at it next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And I hope the rest of you have a great evening.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
thanks.
as well, sir.
Me
You
too.
as well.
Okay, bye. Forgot I did the thing because I'm not used to using what is it? The Discord PNG. All right. Anyway, back out of here. And then I am going to go ahead and end the YouTube stream. And then I think I'll BRB and figure out if I'm going to keep going or not. But anyway, thank you all for hanging out. Be back in a little bit.